I'm excited about today's conversation. We are chatting with actor and storyteller Cody Lightning, aka Biscuits from the Marvel series Echo. This is so amazing. I don't even know where to start, but congratulations on this phenomenal project and thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is so good on so many different levels. I mean, from the story to the lore, the historical acting, there's not acting, but like the culture that comes along with this. Like, I think it is so different than what we've gotten in other Marvel projects, which is fantastic. So let's talk about this. This had to be just such a fun thing to be a part of, I would only imagine.
Absolutely. It was such a fun time working. And it was the longest shoot I've ever been a part of. I was down in Georgia for 6 months working, with breaks in between. It wasn't every day, but that's the longest I've ever been away on a project. I've been on sets for, a month, 2 months, maybe max. But that was, I did a full move down there for 6 months and then came back up here to Edmonton where I live. But such a fun experience, such a huge crew, and to be a part of the Marvel universe now, the energy behind the project and working with everyone, such great talent. Sydney Freeland, the director, everyone was so cool. Learning sign language. I'm a little rusty now, but learning a whole new language for it, and just developing the character of Biscuits. Which after I got this tattoo, it's a Biscuits tattoo.
Nice.
I got it stamped on me.
So that is interesting because your star, your lead, uh, yeah, it's all sign language, and there's a lot of that, and cultural richness. I mean, just so many things. Um, I imagine too the secrecy on this was probably unlike anything else you've ever done. I worked as an extra on the original Avengers film that was made in New Mexico a long time ago now, and I just remember the amount of intensity and NDAs just as a background actor that we had to sign. So I would venture to say this was probably intense. Like, how much did you know going into it? How much did you know from day to day, from episode to episode?
Oh, so my audition was a completely separate scene, had nothing to do with the character. So, and when I got the email saying, hey Cody, we're casting for a new Marvel project. We'd love for you to audition. It's an Indigenous project. I said, okay, sure, just shoot me over the material. And then I got sent an NDA. I was like, oh, whoa, this is okay for real, for real. Signed it, sent it back, and they sent me an audition piece and went through it, prepped and did my audition. And it was very, very, the breakdown for the audition said nothing fancy, just do it on your phone, just make sure it's not all shaky and send it over. And I was like, okay, did that. And, didn't hear anything for a few weeks. And I was like, I probably didn't get it. And then I did a follow up email. And at the time, like I have representation now, I have a really solid team. But at the time, I've been self represented for over 15 years. So I didn't have any like agents, managers, or anything, just kind of word of mouth or looking up stuff on my own or getting directly messaged by people, that type of thing. And so I did a follow up email and just said, hey, just wondering if I'm still in the running. Didn't hear anything back, and whatever. And then said, oh, we're still going over things. 2 more weeks went by, so a whole month. And at this point, I was like, I didn't get it. And I'm sitting with some friends at lunch,
You're like,
and I
yeah.
was at yeah, I was at West Edmonton Mall, and that's one of the biggest malls in the world here in Edmonton, where I live. And it was in November, so I was doing some Christmas shopping and stuff, and eating lunch with friends. And I was kind of like daydreaming off, and my buddy, he looks at me, he goes, "You all right?" And I was like, "Yeah." I did, just thinking about that Marvel project, man. It would have been so cool. And I don't know who got it. And I said this. I said, I don't think I got it. And as soon as I finished saying that, my phone went off, and I was like, oh, oh, I think this is the call. This is it. And so I run outside, and I was on the phone, and they told me I got it. And I freaked out. I yelled at the top of my lungs, yeah! And freaking, I couldn't believe it. And yeah, so the prep, it took me a couple weeks for it to really sink in. I was like, this is no way. There's no way. And then, I had my ASL classes on Zoom until I went down there and just working with the couple of the producers who are deaf and I was worried because learning a whole new language, sign language, is not signed linear to English, how we speak. Uh, it's it's um it's all over the place. And so I was having trouble with that. I was like, oh no. And so I said, how about I go over all of my lines and stuff like that first before I learn like the fundamentals of of actual ASL, so I won't suck at doing my lines. And so I practiced that a lot. And then yeah, being down there fully immersed in it, and yeah, having to be quiet about it. I was like, I want to tell everyone. So my immediate family and friends, a couple of them, like, you guys cannot say a single word, and you can't do the whole, oh, Cody told me this, but don't say that. Like, I don't want to get in trouble and ruin the opportunity. But yeah, and then when I was down there, I had a meeting with Marvel security about certain things, and I was like, wow, this is going to kind of be the new normal. Like, be careful of who you talk to, and people of fans, maybe if they start to come into your life or whatever, and just a whole list of things that could happen or will happen. And it was a little bit like, holy, this is really happening.
Yeah, one of the things that I really like about this, so there are many, but one of the things I really love is you have some very intense scenes with your co-stars and a lot of action and a lot of drama and just very heartfelt moments. And I think this, as far as the Marvel stories go, really stands out from the rest of them. What are maybe a couple things that interested you in this initially and wanting to be a part of it when you first decided or got offered the audition?
Well, just the fact that it's Marvel, which is huge. I'm not gonna lie and say I'm the biggest, superhero Marvel fan, but I do watch like all the Avengers and Endgame, and I've Spider-Man's and stuff like Thor, but not in like order. Like a lot of people, I haven't watched like every single Marvel. So, and then I have a couple friends that are very big comic people. So I actually went to them for reference, like, okay. And then I did my research and stuff like that, and watched Daredevil and watch Hawkeye and stuff like that to get a better understanding. And then because my character is completely new to the universe, right, to the theories and stuff like that, I was able to kind of create uh Biscuits. And he wasn't adapted from the character wasn't adapted from any of the comics, right? So I was able to create that, which was really cool, and they gave me a lot of area to play with that character, which was so fun. And when I actually got the role, I was like, okay, this is Marvel. So I was in a meeting with a Zoom with the director and some of the other producers, and I was like, do I got to start working out? Do I got to get buff? Like, what do I
You're
got to
like,
do? Like, you know, asking all these questions. And Sydney's like, we love you exactly how you are. And I was like, okay, because I got kind of like, a beer belly, and I exercise, but I'm not like buff. And I was like, okay, sweet. And yeah, so it was really cool to incorporate like who I am, like physically, verbally, just like my overall character, how I am, into the Biscuits character is so much fun. Um, yeah, and then working with other actors that I have worked with before and some new, like first time working with Alakwa and Devery Jacobs. But then like Tantu Cardinal and Graham Greene and Chosuke Spencer, I've worked with them before, and it was good to have the group, all the family dynamic and aspect of it was so awesome. And that's one thing I love about Echo is the family aspect of it was really beautiful.
yeah, we have a Laqua. We're talking to her, I think, at the end of this week or next week. But it was really cool. And I think the big thing here is we get more Kingpin, more Daredevil, which people really, I think, were hoping for. And the connection between these two worlds, Hawkeye, of course, and really just all of it together. Well, this is good. I mean, I've watched the series twice now, and it's just so fun, and just your honest and lightheartedness, and really just wanting to help, really like solve
Mm.
this first world problem of gang activity, so to speak,
Yeah.
and the truck and the train and all of that stuff. I want to talk about some of those sequences, particularly where
Yeah.
you're chasing the train and you're, well, obviously there's all kinds of effects involved in that, but like how much physicality do you get to be a part of versus say a stunt person when you're stringing together some of these just insane action sequences?
Well, I got to do well. Anytime you see my face in the scene, that is me in the truck on the hydraulic system, and that was my first time working with complete blue screen. I've done green screen and blue screen stuff like background, but that was, so looking at different marks on the blue screen, like that's where she starts. This is where my eye line ends. This is where the explosion is, and then just using your imagination to, create this whole crazy scenario that's going on with the chase and my dog and all that stuff. And that was a lot of fun to do, like the hydraulic system with the truck. I remember and just bouncing around. It felt like a lowrider car, and yeah, that was a blast to work on. And I got to drive the trucks around. They said, get used to the truck. And when I'm pulling up when the truck's all battered, I remember that day was really fun. And I remember as soon as it's cut, you just hear people laughing because I'm giving that, that dead hand, like, I'm in trouble stare. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And also working with Billy Jack, the dog. He was such a great dog. His actual name is Buzz. And I drove down from Edmonton to Georgia. I didn't fly. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm coming down to embark on this amazing adventure, and I would like 3 or 4 days of travel to just absorb it. Like I'm putting home behind me, and I'm taking on this whole new project. And they said, well, if you're coming down through, what was it? Not New Jersey. Sorry, St. Louis. They said if you're going to come down through St. Louis, that's where the dog is, and you could meet him before you come down. So I stopped and met the trainer and the dog beforehand, and got to get some chemistry with him. And he's such a sweet dog and really smart. And yeah, so we had a fun day, like just getting used to each other before I even got down there. And because of the how everything, some things you film that doesn't make it in the show, and then vice versa. There was a lot of stuff that I improvised that made it in, which was really cool. And then there's some stuff that I wish would have made it, but didn't make the cut. But there was a lot of stuff with the dog that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it was such a sweet relationship. Well, 15 plus years of acting, an overnight success, as they say, 15 years of hard work, and you land a massive project like this. Coming out of it, what are maybe one or two things that you've learned as an actor that will help you on the next project to be better at your craft?
So, small correction, 30 years.
30
I've
years. No,
been,
that's
I
not a
have
small correction.
been.
That's a massive 30, well, yeah, I heard the self-representation part threw me off. I apologize. So
Oh, got you. Okay,
30
got
plus
you. Got you.
years as a storyteller, and now you've reached this moniker, and now the sky's the limit for sure.
Yeah. So I was 5 years old when my mom got me into the film industry. Started as an extra on certain shows and getting smaller parts and then bigger parts. And I've had other films that I've had lead roles in when I was, in my 20s and stuff like that. But it wasn't like consistently. It was like one project per year. Sometimes you go quite a while without getting work, especially in the Indigenous community. There wasn't a lot of projects being made, and there was like one big one per year or every other year, and everyone kind of flocked to that. So now I'm in the position to make my own stuff. I wrote and directed my first feature film called Hey Victor, which comes out March 15th up here in Canada. We don't have distribution in America yet, but hopefully with the hype and the buzz with our festival circuit that we've done. We were in Tribeca Film Festival and Toronto International. So I'm also writing and creating my own projects now as well. And my mom, Georgina Lightning, was my acting coach growing up and still is till today. And, just being able to, the thing with the Marvel project, because of the production value and everything, you have a lot of luxury to really they help you as much as you want. Anything you need, they're there to help you, and it's such an awesome thing to have, because when you're working on a low budget or no budget project, an independent film, you don't really have those luxuries. You got to kind of really work hard for those. And so if you want anything like going to the gym, oh yeah, we got you a membership. Oh, you want to do this for that, work with stunts? Yeah, we got stunt guys we can work with you. It's such a luxury and such a cool thing to have experienced. And, like with any project that I've been on before, you have some people that could, if they have bad attitudes, they could kind of like throw a wrench in everyone's like drive, to make
Right.
something cool or great. There was none of that. Everyone's there to make a great project. And that's what I truly enjoyed about working for, Marvel, which it was beautiful. So if there's anything I take from that I can contribute from now in my future projects, it's just that team effort, the overall picture, just everyone have that overall picture in mind, and let's work together to make something amazing, because Echo is truly amazing. And like you were saying, like, this isn't just because I was a part of it, but it's completely different than anything that's been made from Marvel, and it's history in the making, and I'm so honored and blessed to have been a part of it.
Yeah, well, here's to more of those projects, I think. And yeah, it's just not anything like anything we've ever gotten from Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
But yet it has everything that the fans want, and the service and all of the, you know, post credit. I mean, everything that Marvel's known for, and just hella good storytelling. And you are just the
Mm-hmm.
best in this. It is so
Oh.
freaking amazing. And I'm gonna watch it again, I think, this weekend because it's just so fun. And I don't know, is this a limited series? Are you guys coming back for more? I don't know if you know or can say, or it's just in the ether at this point as to what might happen next.
I am not sure. I'm not at liberties to share. I don't know what is gonna
Okay.
happen. But yeah, it was really in the indigenous film community. I'm not like saying this to like, toot my own horn, but like in the indigenous film community, people know who like my family are, because we've been involved in this industry for over 30 years. And they
Yeah.
know who I am because of the projects that I've worked on and now making my own projects. So I'm not like, I'm kind of known, but like people know like who my family are. And now that, and I've done work on different reserves and speaking at schools and stuff like that about my experience growing up in the industry, the indigenous aspect of it, and just my personal identity stuff with my career and everything, and how it's been a roller coaster. And now that I have my projects coming out, and then this, I've received a lot of like messages from people, several, saying like, you are my favorite character, thank you so much. And it's just like, oh yeah, it's so heartwarming to get that kind of stuff, and the response and reviews on Echo have been, from what I see, pretty good. It's cool, people like it, so I hope that we get to keep going.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations on this and all the success you've had in your career. I appreciate your time, Cody. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.